Hello everyone, welcome to Top Gear. Let's have a cheer for Top Gear. Yes, I'm Chris Evans and let's have a cheer for me. Hello YouTube, Miller Corner here, welcome back once again, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different to what I've done so far on YouTube. This is actually a TV series review, and as you've probably guessed by that little intro sequence, this is going to be about a TV series that has been very controversial just lately. Not because of what it's done, but because of what it is, because of what it followed up to, and because of how good it needed to be to win the hearts and minds of the viewing public. I'm talking, of course, about the new Top Gear. That's right, with Clarkson, Hammond and May leaving the show last year, we had a cast of half a dozen presenters take over and host a brand new, reinvented, reimagined, refreshed Top Gear. Given that Series 1 has just wrapped up last Sunday, or Monday if you're watching in America, I thought it'd be a good idea to review the series, to review their progress, and to actually have a look at how good the reimagined Top Gear with Chris Evans, Matt LeBlanc, Chris Harris, Rory Reid, Sabine Schmitz and Eddie Jordan really is. Let's start by talking about the problem the series had before it had even begun. For a start, following on from Clarkson, Hammond and May's Top Gear was one of the biggest roles they could ever hope to fill. It was one of the most watched TV shows in the world, and everyone's heard of Top Gear and most people have seen it at some point. So the show was already coming in on the back foot for having to follow such a massively popular show. And it wasn't helped when online, when the first trailer was put up on YouTube several weeks before the show was even due to air, the like to dislike ratio on that said video was insane. There were so many more dislikes and people were saying it was going to be awful. So unfortunately, the audience were biased towards the show before it had even begun. Things weren't improved when they announced that the first host for the show was going to be Chris Evans, the Radio 2 breakfast show host in the UK. I happen to like Chris Evans. My ambition to become a radio presenter means that I like his rags to riches story, but unfortunately, he's not got that much to do with cars. He's got a massive paycheck as a result of working for the BBC, which means he's got a lot of expensive, exotic, classic cars, but that's about it. And a lot of people don't like his over-enthusiastic presenting style anyway, so before the show had even begun, the audience didn't like the main presenter. However, audience intrigue was brought up a bit more when they announced that the second main presenter would be Matt LeBlanc, the American actor, and this was going to be good. Matt LeBlanc has fantastic screen presence, he's charismatic, he's great at presenting things, he's got a history with acting obviously, and in the previous version of Top Gear he was the fastest ever driver in the Star and a Reasonably Priced Car Lap, as well as having owned, modified and raced a load of really awesome cars. Matt then would be one of the perfect presenters to lead Top Gear into its new refreshed era. Unfortunately, they then killed quite a lot of the hype by announcing the other 4 presenters in one go, meaning that there wasn't time for the audience to discuss each individual presenter and instead discuss them as a group. The first new presenter announced after the first 2 was an interesting choice. Sabine Schmitz, the German racing driver known as Queen of the Ring, or Nürburgring as it's also known. She's an amazing racing driver and she is a really good driver. But that's about all she's got. She's just a good driver, so frankly she might not have been the best choice either. The next presenter announced was much the same, Eddie Jordan, known primarily for being boss of the Jordan Formula 1 team, as his name would suggest, I suppose. But again, he's not known for journalism or for driving himself particularly, or for even owning a lot of cars. He's just known for running the Jordan Formula 1 team, so I don't think even he knew why he was there, to be honest. However, the next 2 presenters revealed were where it really got good. Chris Harris, the YouTube car reviewing legend and power sliding king, would be presenting Top Gear. And this is good news, because as much as I'm not a big fan of him, lots of people are, and lots of people turn on in droves to watch his videos. So it looked like they might actually be able to bring in a decent amount of viewers purely for the promise of Chris Harris being on the show. Finally, there was the underdog, Rory Reid, another YouTube-based car reviewer, but far less well known than Harris. However, Reid turned out to be a fantastic presenter, relaxed, enjoyable, and genuinely really easy to watch on screen. What's more, his metaphors are second to none in the car reviewing world, and they help to accurately describe a car in as interesting a way as possible. So we had a mixed bag of presenters then, some that we thought might be good to watch, and some that might not have been. What matters though is that we had a star cast. Each of them had something to do with cars, and each of them had something different to bring to the table. So the scene was set. We had a new Top Gear with a new look, 6 new presenters, and we were told a new format. Unfortunately, it's all very well looking good on paper, but the series didn't deliver on first broadcast. Prior to the first episode airing, Evans said that he'd be happy with 5 million viewers, and any more than that he would be even happier with. Unfortunately, the debut episode of New Top Gear, the one to show the world that the reboot was worth doing and would turn out to be something good, brought in just 4.8 million views. Unfortunately, that first episode isn't very good. Some of the pieces are far too cheesy and over the top, and a lot of them have no place in a car show and are more about the presenters themselves. But the biggest problem with that first episode was Evans himself. He spent all the studio links shouting and getting the audience to cheer and clap at absolutely everything, similar to this.
Hello everyone and welcome to Top Gear. Let's have a cheer for Top Gear. Yeah, let's have a cheer for the cars we're going to be driving. Yeah, I'm Chris Evans, so let's have a cheer for me. Yay! Yeah, we're going to have some celebrity that no one's heard of in our rallycross car. Let's have a cheer for the celebrity. Way!
And the voiceovers for the pre-recorded segments that were shown on the show were far too cheesy and elasticated, like he was presenting some sort of kids program.
This is the Ferrari F430, a proper Italian supercar with a 4.3 litre V8 engine. With a top speed of 196 miles an hour, this red racing horse is not to be messed with.
However, in that first episode, LeBlanc did really well. His review of the Aerial Nomad was in-depth, entertaining to watch, and featured a chase sequence at the end that made it more exciting and changed it up a little bit. So, as much as Evans hadn't impressed in the first show, LeBlanc had, and a lot of people liked him from square one. The thing that was retained though from the first episode of the series from the previous Top Gear was the production value. Considering they had an entirely new film crew and editing team, it looked gorgeous with amazing cinematography, brilliant shots and sharp, high quality editing. That is arguably the best bit of the first episode, is the production value, which is absolutely brilliant. However, after that slightly disappointing first episode, the series improved dramatically with in-depth car reviews, the gorgeous production value remaining, some road trips, group tests, challenges. It genuinely felt like Top Gear, but with a new spin. The new cast, crew and production team gave the show a refreshed look that arguably had been calling out for a few years, and it was genuinely enjoyable to watch. Chris Harris and Rory Reid delivered excellent in-depth reviews. Sabine demonstrated some excellent driving skills that were unfortunately a little bit too excellent for Chris, and
Go out! Oh, sorry. Why is it red?
Strawberries.
yeah, that's going to be the last time that gets shown on this channel, I can promise you. And yeah, it was really good. The presenters genuinely gelled well. Considering they don't really know each other off screen, they actually worked together really well. And for the most part, it was really enjoyable. There were some interesting challenges, and there was a diverse array of locations in America, in Europe, and even just in the UK, demonstrating some gorgeous scenery in Scotland and Ireland. However, arguably the biggest improvement over the whole series was Chris Evans himself. He started out way too over the top and not really suitable for Top Gear. By the end of it though, he'd calmed down, he was doing some genuinely pretty good car reviews, and he was actually enjoyable to watch. I know people still don't like Chris Evans because he can be a bit over-enthusiastic, but is that such a bad thing? The TV industry needs some enthusiasm and some flair and some passion into it, and Evans was actually bringing it in quite a good way by the end of it. Over the whole series, I was rating each episode out of 10, and then I combined and averaged those scores out for an overall score for the series. And considering that I rated the first episode only a 5.5 out of 10 for being far more about the presenters and the cheesiness than the actual cars themselves, considering that 5.5 out of 10 for the first episode, my average score of 7.8 out of 10 for the whole series is actually a lot better than it sounds. 7.8 out of 10 for a brand new series with brand new presenters and a brand new production team on its first series is actually a lot better than I was expecting it to be. New Top Gear genuinely is really great to watch. I've loved it and I've gone back and watched most of the episodes twice, 3, 4 times. The fact of the matter is, if you can ignore the early over-enthusiasm from Chris Evans, wait to some of the later episodes where he calms down and actually takes the thing more seriously, he's just as enjoyable as anybody to watch. Rory Reid and Chris Harris deliver some excellent journalism and some brilliant reviews on cars, and Matt LeBlanc has his stylish, laid-back and really quite comedic attitude to things. The thing to do is detach the name Top Gear from it. Don't walk into it expecting it to be the same thing. It's a new show, it's got new presenters, new ideas and a new team. So if you haven't yet watched the new Top Gear series after the first episode, and if you're the sort of person that didn't go in with an open mind, you probably did switch it off after the first episode, go back, watch some of the other ones. There's some fantastic pieces and some excellent cinematography and production value. I love the new Top Gear, and I think with now the whole team really getting to know each other well, and Chris relaxed and being a more enjoyable on-screen presenter, I think the series has got a bright future ahead of it. Oh, well that kind of defeats my point, doesn't it? But maybe that's for the best. The reason that most people turned up in the first place was because Chris Evans was on the show. Now that Chris Evans has gone, people might be more encouraged to tune in and enjoy the laid-back, funny presenting of Matt LeBlanc and the seriously, genuinely brilliant driving and journalism of Reid and Harris. Sabine and Eddie aren't quite as justified. Sabine isn't as enjoyable to watch on screen, although she definitely improved and became a more interesting on-screen presenter by the end of the series, and Eddie was never not enjoyable, but he's never played a major role through this series. He was only in a couple of episodes, and he wasn't that important in either of them. Hopefully in series to come he's going to fulfill some more important and significant roles that actually justifies him being there. However, if we were going to axe one more presenter at this point, I would argue that Eddie Jordan is the one we should cut. That said, they all seem to get on really well. In the last piece of the series, a sports day style long jump event in their Rallycross Mini, they all felt like a big group of friends, and they genuinely worked well on screen together, and it's the first time they'd all been on screen together, and it was really great to see. Go into it with an open mind. Forget the history, forget the fact that it's called Top Gear, and you'll find yourself watching a show that is far more enjoyable than you might well have thought. I've watched it from start to finish, and there's been something to enjoy about every episode, even if some of them haven't quite been up to scratch. But it's been interesting to see these presenters in different situations, reviewing different cars and competing in different challenges. So there you have it, new Top Gear. On the offset, it didn't look promising, and it didn't look like it was going anywhere. However, after one series, it's moved on to become a genuinely brilliant, enjoyable show. There is an excellent, bright future ahead for the show, and I'm certainly going to be watching it long into the future. So that was the new Top Gear series in review. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, do that thing. If you didn't like it, do that thing, but don't forget to do that thing. Type down below, tell me what you thought of the video, and what you think of the new series of Top Gear, the bits you liked, the bits you didn't like, and what you're hoping to see in the future. This is going to be my last video for a couple of weeks now, guys, because I'm going to be doing a lot of full-time radio related stuff for the next 2 or 3 weeks, so I thought I'd get this extra special video out for you to tide you over for the gap while I'm working on some other stuff. But as soon as I can, I will be back doing videos for you once again. Thank you so much for watching once again, guys. I really appreciate it. You have a brilliant rest of your day, and I will see you in a few weeks' time when I'm finished with all this radio stuff. See you soon, guys, and you have a good one.